Hi everyone, it's QuickyBaby and welcome back to World of Tanks. And Wargaming just revealed the first Tier 11 light tank and all of the tank destroyers. So without further ado, let's take a look to see what they are all going to be about.
Tier 11 isn't just about new tanks. It's 16 unique vehicles that add a whole new layer of gameplay.
Looking forward to it, especially the light tank.
It features heavy steel,
We've already seen the heavies.
mobile medium tanks,
Already loving the mediums.
and, of course, next-level firepower.
Let's take a look, let's take a look.
Today, we'll show you 3 tank destroyers
3, and a light tank.
and 1 light tank that spots targets for them.
Okay, how is it going to spot targets?
The AT-FV230 Breaker is a vehicle with a bad attitude
So this is the Tier 11 Badger.
that breaks tanks like toys.
I bet. I wonder if it's going to play well with
Its
others.
gun quickly strips heavy tanks to their last rivets.
How so? Show us the
The gun
stats, baby.
depression-
Okay, so that, as far as I'm aware, is the same alpha damage as the Badger. The penetration looks okay, but a little bit underwhelming, I'd say personally, for a Tier 11 tank destroyer. The hit points, as far as I'm aware, are very similar to the Badger, maybe just plus 10%. It's incredibly slow, 20 forwards and 12 backwards. Very accurate, and great aim time, and 8.1 seconds gun reload. Meaning that this vehicle is actually going to end up with a terrifying damage per minute divided by 8.1 times by 480. 3,555. That means that this is the new highest damage per minute in the game, even below 50 meters, I believe. Yeah, Skavitzer, you've had your moment. You won't even be able to outdamage the Breaker below 50 meters. I am really surprised, however, that the penetration is barely a step up, only 11 millimeters. And yeah, you know, it's nice to have the extra 100 hit points, but this is 50% slower than a Badger. The Badger's going at 30 kilometers an hour. So far, this one looks really underwhelming unless it's going to get some kind of superpower.
Angles help it always.
But wait a minute, I didn't take a look at the vehicle's armor. 381. If this thing has a very good lower plate and, yeah, no weak points like the Badger, this thing could actually be scary.
They stay on high ground, while the traverse angles make fighting from there a breeze.
Wow, very
its
flexible.
Armor, meanwhile, will crack even the strongest teeth.
Wow.
Even under a hail of shells, the Breaker keeps moving forward. And
Maybe unless it gets caught with its side armor. Hopefully it does actually have a weakness.
it has the direct drive mechanic to help it.
How does that work?
The vehicle's engine automatically increases its power and top speed as you move forward.
Increases its top speed as you move forward? So is it limited to 20 or does it go faster than 20?
The longer you drive, the more horsepower you get.
Okay.
This mechanic lets you deliver your damage per minute exactly where it's needed most, right on time.
We're going to have a look at that on Wargaming's website because the mechanic for me, it seems to be a little bit hard to be able to fathom. So is it just more engine power when you're going to go up slope? Let's take a look on Wargaming's video. So it looks like the engine power increases as you go up the slope. Okay, fantastic. So useful for going up hills that one time when you actually need the extra engine power. I'm gonna say that's kind of disappointing, honestly. Unless I'm missing something, ladies and gents, that looks very disappointing for me to just have a little bit of engine power being able to go up slope. As far as I'm aware, Wargaming hasn't really clarified about the top speed increase in both the video. We saw the engine power, but maybe they'll show it here.
Thanks to this, the Breaker can show up in places where it's least expected.
How so?
In positional combat, it fights with maneuverability typical of heavy TDs,
Sure.
because the bonuses reset when you stop.
Okay, but
This lets the vehicle stay true to its role,
okay.
but cover long distances more quickly.
What will its top speed limit become, though?
The unique upgrade system available for every Tier 11 vehicle will let you push the Breaker's characteristics to their limits.
Okay.
And once you've fully upgraded it, you can unlock new customization elements to complement its brutal look.
We already know that.
This applies to every vehicle in the new tier.
As you've said many times. Okay, so let me know in the comments down below. What am I missing? Is this thing going to get a top speed increase the more that it's driving? I can't... Wargaming haven't stated that. I haven't quite managed to figure it out. So far, by far, I think the least exciting of the tier 11 vehicles that I have seen. But that armor, it could be absolutely brutal.
Even the Breaker needs some sniper support sometimes.
What's going to
Someone
snipe
to
for it?
deliver the decisive blow.
Oh, here we go.
Enter the Hirschkäfer.
The Hirschkäfer.
This is a tank destroyer on the Leopard 1's chassis.
Oh, now we're talking, boys and girls. 550 alpha? What? What? This is not a tier 10 gorilla. There's got to be some kind of gimmick with its mechanic, because that is pretty diabolical to only have 550 alpha damage. That is not what we want to be having on an alpha. Its gun loading is also 13.1. There has to be a mechanic coming, guys. A very big mechanic, because I can tell you, this thing's base damage per minute is 2,500. Alpha, aside, 295 pen, 345 on the gold. Is it going to be APCR? Is it going to be heat? It's got a few more hit points. It's fast. It's accurate. It's got amazing aim time. It's got 8 degrees of gun depression, whereas the Gorilla has 7, and 380 meters view range means it's actually got worse view range than the Gorilla does. And also remember that the Gorilla gets a field mod that increases its view range by an extra 3%. So maybe that means that the Hirschkäfer is not actually going to be able to spot for itself without coated optics. So far, actually, like a sideways upgrade, I'd say.
So mobility is never an issue. It strikes from nowhere, then vanishes.
I wonder if it has a fully traversable
Only
turret.
to reappear and strike again.
Imagine if it has a fully traversable
And
turret.
knock the enemy down. Its propellant thermal control system gradually boosts final accuracy and damage per shot
Okay.
when the vehicle is stationary or moving at less than 20 kilometers per hour.
Wow.
A good sniper...
So just to clarify, it's 20 kilometers an hour if it's upgrades, but the subtitle says 10. So you're going to want to upgrade that as quickly as you can to make it comfortable.
Stationary or moving at less than 20 kilometers per hour. A good sniper always waits for the best opportunity. When moving faster than 20 kilometers per hour, the charge bar reduces. After firing, it resets and starts building up again.
Huh.
This way,
I wonder if it builds up before the vehicle has finished loading.
you can choose between frequent shots or fewer, deadlier ones.
Well, fewer deadlier
At full
ones.
charge, you gain a significant boost to damage and accuracy.
It looks like it was 800 at full charge, but I very much doubt it will probably charge before you finish reloading. Well, we can take a look in Wargaming's advanced mechanics. Should we take a look? Where is the Hirschkäfer? The Hirschkäfer is here. So let's take a look. See if Wargaming spill the beans or spill the tea, as the case may be. Very British. Those couple sayings there to see about whether the power bar charges up. So it doesn't charge while it's reloading. Doesn't charge while it's reloading. As soon as the vehicle finishes reloading here, now it starts charging. So with regards to the damage per minute calculation, that is going to be the base damage per minute. And so you're not actually going to be able to get more damage per minute than that. But you are going to be able to keep charging that shell up to have up to 800 alpha, which will make it like a DBV, but it won't be a DBV that has DPM. Up and down, really, with this vehicle so far.
Plus an additional bonus.
Oh.
A guaranteed enemy ammo rack explosion if they have fewer HP than your average damage per shot.
So this vehicle can't low roll. That changes everything. So that damage per minute that we saw, which is actually quite low, means that you will be able to guarantee yourself, if you penetrate, that the enemy will die. So that is absolutely phenomenal. You aren't going to have any more low rolls inside World of Tanks. That'll mean that you probably don't want to take shell tuning at all on this vehicle. So yeah, adjust your crew skills for the Hirschkäfer. Wow, a guaranteed kill shot in World of Tanks, that'll be phenomenal for going in and delivering those final shots. on your opponents, being able to provide, like, create those satisfying ambushes. That kind of increases that 800 alpha damage further, because it won't be 800 that can roll as low as 600. It's going to be 800 that is going to be 800. I wonder if it can roll higher, in theory. So yeah, if your opponent has like 799 hit points, you're always going to finish them off. But in theory, if they have more, I expect it can roll higher, but it's not going to be kind of like the Amarak Execute. Pretty cool mechanic, honestly.
Total destruction guaranteed.
I look forward to this one. I don't look forward to getting shot by this one.
The Hirschkäfer can be very fast when it needs to be, but it's not in a hurry.
It's true.
The enemy is only faster on their way back to the garage.
Man, imagine waiting for a few extra seconds so you have the guaranteed kill shot on your opponent, but then firing just before they manage to reload. That'll be some adrenaline.
The Hirschkäfer will need a fast-firing ally. The fastest firing of all.
What's this?
The Strv-10712 is a true nightmare for the enemy.
STRV-10712, that is a
This
mouthful.
sniper doesn't rely on a single decisive strike.
How
It
so?
occupies a position
Yes.
and
Okay. Okay, Wargaming. You're having your fun.
With its penetration, damage per minute,
Okay, maybe this will be the new highest damage per minute in the game. Okay, 390 alpha, same as the STRV. Wow, that is some scary pen. 319 standard pen. Just don't load the gold, right? But if you do, 361, which is actually barely any better than the STRV's 350. So big step up in standard pen, but not so much of a big step up in gold pen. 2,000 hit points, 200 extra. Top speed, 53.48, very fast. But it's saying that it goes 1 and 1 inside its siege mode. That's something we'll have to investigate. 0.23 accuracy, that's better than the 0.25 that it gets inside the siege mode previously. And it looks like its rate of fire improves, so that it will be having 3,900 base damage per minute inside its siege mode. Shell velocity phenomenal. 370 meters view range, however. That means that this thing is going to have to be using those coated optics. I thought the STRV even had that previously, or did it have slightly more view range than that? 360 actually has slightly less. So funnily enough, this one gets a little bit of a view range upgrade, but it doesn't have that extra 3%. Whereas that Hirschkäfer is going to have that view range downgrade.
pneumatic suspension, and siege mode, the STRV inherits all the strengths of its branch and adds its own.
What's
On top
its
of
strength?
its travel and siege modes, the vehicle also features a new one, pillbox mode.
Pillbox
It
mode.
maximizes all the pros and cons of siege mode. The main engine shuts down so that vehicle vibrations don't interfere with the gunner's aim. As a result, the TD can barely move. But its damage per minute, aiming time, and accuracy become even better than in siege mode.
Wow.
To activate pillbox mode, hold the X key for a few seconds. Pressing it still activates either siege mode or travel mode.
What?
Siege-
That looked confusing to me. Let's take a look again.
Than in siege mode.
Okay.
To activate pillbox mode, hold the X key for a few seconds.
Okay.
Pressing it still activates either siege mode or travel mode. Siege mode remains for
Still
shorter
confusing me.
distances when you need some mobility.
Okay.
Use it when you need to fire, but don't have time to set up a long-term sniper nest.
Huh.
So
Interesting. For me, I feel like the flexibility that you get in siege mode, where you can still drive around at like 17 kilometers an hour, is probably going to outweigh the pillbox mode, in my opinion.
don't be put off when the STRV-1712 becomes an almost immobile firing point in its unique mode. The enemies in its crosshairs will also become just as immobile very quickly.
Now, I love my STRV. I actually have one of my better win ratios of any of my tier 10 tank destroyers on my STRV. But it is not by playing this thing in a pillbox mode. It's by being active, kind of playing it like it's a medium tank without a turret. And while I know that STRVs have their role on the battlefield sniping, and maybe the pillbox mode will be able to help with that, I think it's going to be a little bit of a trap, guys. And yeah, it's an interesting ability, but I feel like it's an ability that could be a double-edged sword and actually hold some players back on this tank. And yeah, this thing driving along at 1 kilometer an hour rather than being a little bit flexible and moving its weak point, it's going to be fairly awkward. Unless Wargaming have given this thing tremendous armor. So I guess I should go back and take a look to see, has it got tremendous armor? Well, they're not showing its armor here, so we'll have to take a look at their in-depth statistics, because if its armor is good, then that changes things. Survivability, it has 50 millimeters of armor and 30 on the side, so that looks identical to the current Strv 103B. So not good news really for that tank in my opinion.
Last but not least, our light tank. The
Looking
eyes and ears of Tier 11, the LeKpz Borkenkäfer.
Borkenkäfer.
It's a very fast, compact spotter with an excellent...
So 340 Alpha, upgrade over the RHM. 290 Gold Pen, phenomenal. That is a huge upgrade over there. I believe 200... Is it 60 or is it 200? Actually, it might be 280 that you get on the Tier 10 light tank. So not as much as I initially thought. The hit points, good upgrade. Top speed 75, amazing. Reverse speed 25, great. 14 degrees of gun depression. Okay. 14 degrees of gun depression, boys and girls. That is looking savage. Absolutely savage. And it still retains its 420 meters view range with 45 power to weight ratio. That thing looks like a beast, guys.
Balance of view range and concealment.
I wonder what its camo will be.
We
can take a look. We can take a look to see what its camo will be, actually. Where is it? At the top, at the bottom? The Borkenkäfer, here it is. Where are they putting it in? Survivability, concealment on the move. Pretty okay. 16, nearly 16. 16 on the move means that roughly it's got the same camo as the Rheinmetall Panzerwagen. But here's my big concern. Wargaming probably aren't taking into account that the field mods on the previous vehicles could be able to gain an extra 2%. So it might actually be slightly worse than the Rheinmetall and more like the Sheridan's kind of camo rating.
First, but that's only half the trouble. The real trouble begins when it fires.
How so? Oh, the spotting mechanic.
Can scout in a completely new way, using its shells.
Amazing. Show us.
Pressing X equips a shell with a laser target designator. When the shell hits an enemy, it applies one of two effects.
How
if
so?
the target is already spotted, the hit increases the time it stays visible.
Okay.
And the damage it takes. If the
And the damage it takes? Oh, that will be huge. Imagine that for competitive gameplay. Wow, I didn't have any idea that it was going to increase the damage the vehicle receives. That's amazing. That's so cool for a light tank player as well. Fabulous, fabulous stuff.
Borkenkäfer successfully marks a target in the firing line of allies.
I wonder if it has to penetrate for that to be able to work.
The target is already spotted. The hit increases the time it stays.
It just says the hit. It doesn't say it has to penetrate. Interesting.
Is visible, and the damage it takes.
I wonder if you load HE and you mark the target with HE and that does a slight amount of damage to it. Will that mean that it stays visible for longer as well? Interesting.
If the Borkenkäfer successfully marks a target in the firing line of allies, that target will take more damage.
Wow.
If the target wasn't spotted, hitting it places a marker saying, "You hit it, there's an enemy there."
That's amazing. Absolutely amazing for blind firing. But yeah, you're going to have to reveal your position to be able to take those chances. So there'll probably be a lot of these Borkenkäfers that are actually getting themselves spotted trying to blind fire.
The marker doesn't highlight the target's silhouette, only its position is revealed.
Wow.
And not just to you.
Wow.
This mechanic unlocks new opportunities for team play. Show your skills and create.
So I can give a little bit of behind the scenes information because this mechanic I think could be one of the most crazy and broken things inside World of Tanks. The reason is because the way that ping markers work in World of Tanks is they are actually map wide, right? So up until this point, the only way that you could actually see an opponent was without using cheats was at 568 meters, where the vehicle would render on your screen when it's being spotted by an ally. However, this marker will be map wide, allowing players to be able to see an enemy's position, well, not their silhouette, but just their position, as if a position has been pinged, map wide. So this will allow, for example, artillery to have really good pixel point precision with firing at blind targets, if, of course, the Borkenkäfer lights them up. And more importantly, your shells can actually travel 720 meters inside World of Tanks. So because your shells can travel 720 meters in World of Tanks, and you can see a marker map wide, you could actually be shooting vehicles very reliably outside your render distance, not just by kind of like pinging on the map at their location and firing, but by having it lit up by the Borkenkäfer for you, even when the opponent is not spotted. Wild, wild, wild.
Activity and win like never before.
Just imagine on Malinovka at the start, if the Borkenkäfer blind fires a bush that someone is hiding in next to the rock, their whole team will be able to shoot 700 meters and annihilate something, maybe before it's even left the spawn.
With a next level scout.
Crazy stuff. That one looks like such an exciting tank.
That concludes our first introduction to Tier 11.
Wonderful. So great stuff, Wargaming. Okay, I'll try and give my overall opinion on the vehicles one by one. Hirschkäfer. This vehicle, I like the execute. I like the execute a lot. The vehicle looks like it's going to be quite low on the damage per minute until it is very stationary. So, but also the fact that it's never going to be able to low roll, that massively increases that damage per minute, the effective damage per minute. Because if it's always going to be like 800 plus, that's a scary tank to get shot by. That kind of means it's new alpha damage if it's always going to be 800 plus. But I guess that's only if you're executing a target, right? It might still be able to low roll if it doesn't execute the tank, I guess. Because that will make the actual alpha damage of this vehicle very nutty if that was the case. One of the biggest things I just noticed is this vehicle has 57 degrees plus and minus gun traverse limits, which is just a little bit more than the Grilla. The Grilla has 50 to the left and 50 to the right, so Wargaming making the Hirschkäfer just a little bit more flexible than the Grilla, but it is not a fully traversable turret. This vehicle also has a base camera rating of 6.78 when it is moving, which is significantly better than the camera rating on the Grilla. So that is a definite advantage of this vehicle, and you might even be able to get away without an exhaust. However, unfortunately for the vehicle, it only has that reduced view range of 380. So that's 10 meters less than the Grilla. And also keep in mind that the Grilla gets a field mod that increases its view range by 2%. So you might end up having to take coated optics on your Hirschkäfer unless the vehicle counts as not being open top and you can now use vents. If you can use vents, that will be awesome. If you can't use vents, this one's going to probably have to sacrifice for coated optics to be able to spot for itself, which will mean that you'll have to drop the exhaust like I love to use on the Grilla. Next up, Strv 10712. Let's actually take a look at this thing's video because I need to try and figure it out. It's all a little bit confusing for me right now. So the vehicle presses X, or does it have to hold X to enter siege mode? It enters siege mode quite quickly, actually. Looks like the siege mode is about 1.75 seconds or something like that. Inside siege mode, it's going to be faster. The pillbox mode looks like it takes a lot longer, and you're going to have to hold the X key instead of tap the X key to enter the pillbox mode. Looks like it takes 7 seconds or so. Was that 7 seconds? 8 seconds for it to be able to enter the pillbox mode. When it's entered that pillbox mode, it has worse traverse speed by the looks of it. Oh, that's awful. But I guess, okay. I guess it's going to have that better rate of fire by 10%, which is nice. It's got really slow abilities to aim up and down inside the pillbox mode. Yeah, okay. And it can't move at all. Well, again, amazing for being that ultra sniper, but darn, that is a long time to enter and leave the pillbox mode. I wish that Wargaming had a little bit of a better transition between the pillbox mode and the siege mode. I wonder if you're going to be able to go from the siege mode to the pillbox mode as well, or do you have to always go from the travel mode into the pillbox mode? I think Wargaming are probably doing a good job by not making this kind of like the new OP sniper, But yeah, I can't help but feel that it's not going to be that much of an upgrade. And I think for me, I'd probably rather still stay in the siege mode most of the time than go into the pillbox mode. A fairly disappointing tank. The breaker as well, this is very disappointing for me. Like, unless the front of this tank is practically impenetrable, I'm looking at that lower plate. That will make and break the tank. If the lower plate is God tier, this will be a brutal tank for holding a position. If it is not God tier, it'll be awful. And also, Wargaming has not clarified, at least for me, unless I'm stupid, let me know in the comments down below. The top speed seems to just be 20 that it will reliably go at, but whether it's going to be able to go at like 40 when it's progressing for like half a minute between positions, that will change the vehicle completely. New highest damage per minute, but all in all, it still just doesn't quite do it for me, honestly, boys and girls. I don't think it's going to be that much better than the Badger. The Borkenkäfer, this vehicle looks really, really, really fun. I'm looking forward to this one at all. Designating your opponents with that laser target, as I've discussed, looks like it's going to be absolutely amazing. The slight alpha damage upgrade, the slight penetration upgrade, the slight hit points upgrade. The only thing that I worry is that Wargaming taking away field mods mean that these vehicles could be very awkward with their camera rating, and the medium tanks especially. People quite rightly highlighted in my video yesterday for the medium tanks that the tier 11 Batchat looks like it's going to have horrendous camo, especially when it doesn't get upgraded with the field mods. So maybe a lot of these vehicles are really going to suffer with the camera rating, and something that maybe Wargaming did not think about. But all we have to do is wait for tomorrow for the Asia server and wait for Wednesday for the EU server. Final mention on the Borkenkäfer, 14 degrees of gun depression. Just absolutely revolutionize how this vehicle can be played on ridge lines. And it doesn't even look like it's 14 degrees with a hydropneumatic suspension. Absolute incredible tank. I cannot wait to play this vehicle. It might be the vehicle that I'm most excited to play. Anyway, ladies and gents, boys and girls, that was it for today. Really hope you enjoyed this video and it was useful in breaking down the tank destroyers and the light tank. If it was, give it a thumbs up. If you hated it, give it a thumbs down. And let me know, do you think I'm being too harsh on the Breaker? And do you think I'm being too harsh on the Strv 10712? Or do you think that these vehicles do look like they might be a little bit underwhelming compared to their tier 10 counterparts? And what do you think about the Hirschkäfer and also the Borkenkäfer? Do you think they look ridiculous? I'm looking forward to them. And as always, thank you so much for watching. You've been epic, and hopefully I'll see you soon.